Volcano Observatory reports that vigorous lava eruptions continue in Leilani Estates and Lanipuna Gardens. Breaches in the channel formed by the Fissure 8 flow can happen without notice and result in rapid moving flows. Everyone is advised to stay away from active volcanic areas. Due to the volcanic activity in the Kapoho area, the following policies are in effect. Hawaii Fire Department has evacuated residents in homes along Papaya Farms Road and Noni Farms Road. Any residents remaining should evacuate now. For Kapoho, Vacationland, and Government Beach Road, the following policy is in effect. All residents of Vacationland and Kapoho beach lots are advised to evacuate and complete their evacuation. The possibility of being isolated. Due to the active volcanic eruptions, Mayor Kim has issued a mandatory evacuation order for part of Leilani Estates. The following policies are in effect. Mandatory evacuation is for areas east of Pomaikai Street in Leilani Estates. Residents have until 12 noon tomorrow to evacuate the mandatory evacuation area. Persons remaining in the mandatory evacuation area do so at their own risk, with the knowledge that emergency responders may not be able to respond. For your safety, heed warnings from civil defense officials and stay alert. We are on watch 24 hours a day for your safety. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense Agency.
Okay, that was a drone footage that was recorded during the rapid outbreak of lava that occurred in Leilani Estate. That went down Luana Street and took out the 10 lots in 10 minutes. And there was a resident that was trapped by lava, basically between. I don't know the exact story, but it was certainly between lava and I believe a dense forest. And we had a drone crew being flown by the USGS while this was underway, and the drone crew was in the area, and the drone crew was able to find out where this person was that was trapped and lead people to rescue him. So what you're seeing is kind of people running through the flashlights of people trying to get this person rescued, and they were rescued. So we still have basically the same type of activity that we were seeing yesterday. So Fissure 8 is continuing to maintain fountains that have reached 200 to 250 feet in height. That's actually the highest recorded fountain so far of this eruption, is up to 250 feet. There are two smaller fountains adjacent to the primary fountain, and those are reaching heights of up to about 60 feet at a sustained level. There's also a undercone growing on the downwind side of the primary represent, Fissure 8. So the Fissure 8 flow is still moving, it's still very wide, and it's moving downhill along Highway 132 and into the area of Noni Farms Road. But the flow front has advanced more slowly than it did yesterday. It's only going about 50 yards per hour. Earlier this morning, about 6 a.m., there was a breakout of the primary channel that sent the flow down Makamai Street to the north, and that's in Leilani Estate subdivision. And that flow has almost reached Koho Easy Road, and the projected path is just further to the north, downhill along the deepest line of descent. There's also Pele Cedar and other volcanic glass that are being wafted away from Fissure 8 mountain, but that seems to now be flowing not into the Leilani Estates area. The winds have changed since yesterday. There's also Fissure 18 was only about a half a mile from Highway 137. However, that fissure seems to have slowed down today and hasn't advanced very much. We do have drone crews measuring the advance rate in the flow front, mostly for the one that is being fed off of Fissure 8. And low-level spattering is continuing from Fissure 21, and that's just continuing to slow down slope towards the ocean entry. It's probably reoccupying the channel that was developed there. The summit is still erupting. The deformation rate is deflating pretty quickly, and quickly relative. It's still kind of maintaining the same type of deformation signal, and earthquakes are still occurring at the summit, although seismicity is slightly lower over the past 24 hours than it was the day before when seismicity rates were very high. And there continues to be some minor ash explosions from the summit that are drifting downwind. And we are also trying to work with our partners to get a notification service, a type of notification service put together that will help people downwind of the ash plumes to be notified if there is a significant ash event. But that has not completely been figured out yet. We're just trying to figure out what the parameters are to constrain that type of notification. That's all from me.
Thank you, Wendy. Our next speaker is Jessica Farrakane. That's S as in Frank, E-R-R-A-C-A-N-E. Jessica Farrakane is a public affairs officer with Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Good morning. I have 3 updates to share with you all this morning. First of all, the work on Chain of Craters Kalapana Road as an evacuation route continues. Yesterday, the bulldozers were able to move through 1,600 feet of hardened lava, which is about half of what they need to go through. So there's a good chance that that route will be possibly complete by this weekend. As a reminder, this is an evacuation route only, a one-way out, not a regular ongoing thoroughfare. If there are any media on the phone who would like to see video and or photography in the news release that went out yesterday, please contact me and I'll be happy to share that. The second update is more of a rumor control. There's apparently some rumor going around that people at the park have been laid off. I wanted to make it very clear there have been no layoffs as far as National Park Service staff goes. We have 134 people working for Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and I'm happy to share with media who are interested where some of us are working remotely, etc. I won't go into that laundry list here, but if you would like to know more, I'm happy to share it after this call. And I said there was one more thing I had to. Oh yes, the temporary flight restriction has been extended to August 31st. So there is still a TFR above the summit to 30,000 feet above ground level, extending out a 5 nautical mile radius. That's all I have. Thank you, Jessica. Our third speaker today is Derek Rowe. Derek is D-E-R-E-K. Rowe, W-R-O-E. Derek Rowe is with the National Weather Service, which is part of NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Thank you, Derek.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I wanted to touch on the trade winds. They strengthened yesterday. We had a little disruption on Tuesday, and that caused some of the instances of reports of pellet hair moving off in a different direction. But the wind did firm up yesterday, and it got quite breezy by the end of the day, and there's very little change today. So we have northeasterly trade winds around that wind area in 10 to 15 miles per hour. The transport winds, which are just above the surface, are quite strong as well, pushing everything off to the southwest. And we don't anticipate much in the way of change in the next 24 hours. So we're expecting to see similar conditions through the day today and tomorrow. Maybe the wind's a little bit weaker. The trade winds themselves, they're going to be about 15,000 feet deep. So most of the eruptions we've seen at the actual crater have been around 10,000 feet or less, so the trades do in fact go up to about 15,000 feet and move off to the southwest. So any emissions that come out of there will move off to the southwest. Tomorrow, as the trades weaken a little bit, they'll be a little bit shallower, maybe as low as 12,000 feet, but still fairly deep. And then as we move in, we could have a little bit of slightly weaker winds on Saturday, but picking up again. So not a whole lot of change, just slight variations in the wind over the next couple of days. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Before we go into our question and answer session, I want to ask reporters to please ask one question at a time so we can get everybody in. I also want to remind people that we will try to cut off this phone call, or I should say we're going to try to end this phone call at the half-hour mark, 2:30 in California, 11:30 in Hawaii. So don't wait to say, I have a question, and raise your hand. However, I do want to point out there's a couple of new videos that the U.S. Geological Survey Hawaiian Volcano Observatory released today, and there are links in the media advisory that was sent to all of you today, just about 10 to 15 minutes before this call started. There is our usual daily update, the daily briefing. There is also a link to, and a video that was shot with one of our scientists working 24/7 in shifts monitoring the lava flow, and some new video footage released from one of our monitoring drones at the summit of Kilauea. So do check those out. And then, Karen, I think we're ready for our first question today.
Thank you. At this time, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star, then 1, and record your first name along with your affiliation. Our first question comes from Miguel of CNN, so your line is open.
Hi there. Good to know you're still here, Wendy. I thought you were taking off. Question for you is, we had a 5.4 earthquake yesterday. There has been a lot of earthquake activity. What can you tell us about what's happening at the crater, at the summit, and the magma below? Is there new magma entering the system from deep down?
Hi, Miguel. Yes, I'm still here today. This is Wendy. I will not be on the call tomorrow because I'm flying back tomorrow. So we aren't really sure what is going on with the plumbing system right now. There's still quite a lot of magma beneath the summit. Preliminary calculations, and this is back of the envelope calculations, as it were, are indicating that only about 2% of the magma that was in the summit storage region could have left the summit storage region. So there's plenty of magma there, but even the decrease in volume by that much is causing the subsidence that we're seeing, so the downdropping and the deflation at the summit. So that's still continuing. We are still registering that. I don't know exactly how many feet the summit has actually deflated. The last count that I had, I've said on this call, was 5 feet. I can get some new numbers, and maybe I can relay those to people who are going to do the call tomorrow. So the thing that we don't really know is where there's definitely magma coming into the system. That's kind of a continuous, we say that it's continuous supply coming from the core mantle boundary, so very deep inside the Earth, the hotspot volcano. And there's always this lofting plume. We call it a plume. It's a different type of plume, obviously, of hot molten mantle material that's rising up into the volcano of Kilauea itself. And so there's some that storage regions are still there, but we obviously have a more, we had magma move down from Ku'u'o'o in some area. I can't remember if I said on the call yesterday, but we definitely have the Ku'u'o'o composition of magma erupting at the surface. We've been saying for a while that it was mixed with over-stored magma, but we don't see that happening anymore. This is composition that's exactly akin to Ku'u'o'o. That's all I have for you right now. Sorry.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Steve of Reuters, so your line is open.
Yeah, hi. You said yesterday that the temperature of the lava that was erupting now out of the fissures was as hot as it's been, and about as hot as it could be expected to get. And somebody asked, well, how hot is that? And you were going to try to see if you can get that number. And so I was wondering if that's still the case today, and if you know, if you can tell us, like, give us a temperature or a range that we could report when we say it's the hottest.
Hi, sorry. Just so you guys know, I'm on my cell phone, so you might hear people talking in the background from where I'm standing. But the temperatures that we're measuring on the fountain height, or the fountains themselves, which is what we are able to measure now, is about 900 degrees. And the thing with measuring fountains is that that's 900 degrees centigrade. Sorry, I can't do the conversion right now, but hopefully somebody can do that for me. As we're measuring the fountain, it's hard to get into the center, which is the hottest portion of the fountain. We can, point a thermal infrared camera at the fountain, get a temperature reading, but there's these cooler bits of the fountain, like the class, as the molten material is jetted upwards into the sky, it breaks apart, and just like you would spray a garden hose up into the sky, and the pieces break apart and fall down. But as these pieces are falling down, they are cooling. So we're often registering kind of a mixed temperature signal that is from the cooling outer margin of the fountain with the interior kind of mixed in. And those temperatures are around 900 degrees centigrade.
And Wendy, I can inject that 900 degrees centigrade is equivalent to 1,652 degrees Fahrenheit.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Jim of Westwood One News. So your line is open.
Hi, good morning. Wendy, if you could answer this, actually, I don't know. You're a month into this now, and is there anything in the current event, maybe the lava being as hot as it can possibly get, or whatever else may be out there, is there anything that gives any indication as to the future of this thing, when it might start winding down, or is there anything we can tell from the current conditions?
Hi, this is Wendy Stovall, USGS. So right now we don't see any changes occurring. I did mention yesterday on the call that the deformation signals that we're seeing in the lower eastern zone anyway have stopped widening. So there was a widening across the rift zone itself, which was something that we interpreted to be an injection of magma that was pushing the rift zone out of it. And that's not happening anymore. But that doesn't mean that there isn't plenty of eruptible magma beneath the surface. Again, we've been trying to bookend this with eruptions that we are familiar with in 1960 and 1955 eruptions, and that was, one lasted just over a month and the other one lasted 3 months. And it's hard to say right now. There's no sign that we're getting that anything is going to slow down at the moment.
Thank you. Once again, as a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star, then 1, and record your name and your affiliation. Our next question comes from Kevin of Honolulu Star Advertiser. So your line is open.
Thank you, Wendy. Sorry to make you repeat yourself. I dialed up about a minute late. When you were describing the fountaining from Fissure 8, and I believe you said that it was the highest that had been reported yet. Could you just repeat that sentence, please?
Yeah, sure. So those height measurements were likely made overnight yesterday. I was in Pahala at a community meeting to deal with the ash in the bog increase that they've been experiencing in that community. And when we were driving down from the summit area, we could see the fountain on the horizon. And then driving down 130, coming back into the Pahala area, we could see the fountain again. And it was the first time that I had seen that fountain on the road. So those measurements that were made overnight were about 250 feet high.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Miguel of CNN. So your line is now open.
Hi there. Sorry. Just a quick follow-up on the 2%. When you said 2% of the magma in the crater on Kilauea has made its way into the system, how does one put that? What does that mean? And does it act like a plunger or pressure on new magma then entering the system, and that's why we're seeing this sort of extreme fountaining?
Actually, that's not really why the fountaining is occurring the way it is now. Typically, in these eruptions, the fountains themselves start to get higher, and especially now that we're seeing the cool composition, it's because of the magma itself. It's not necessarily the pressure behind it. Certainly the pressure is causing the magma to be forced more upwards to the surface, but as the magma is forced from behind, it decompresses. The magma itself decompresses, and there's gas that comes out of solution, and the bubbles form, and then that provides additional pressure. And it's that gas release and the pushing of the gas itself that is propelling these fountains higher. And the magma that was from Pulu in the summit area just has more gas in it. It wasn't sitting in the rift zone for a long period of time where it could evolve and grow crystals and outgas. So that's really why these mountains are higher, is because of the amount of gas that is in the magma itself.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Lynn of Hawaii News Now. Your line is open.
Aloha, Wendy. Just trying to get an idea on the amount of acreage that the flow has covered so far. It's been a couple of days since we got that update. Do you have updated numbers?
So I don't have a new acreage number. I can find that out later today and make sure that we get a mini update out. And then I was just apologizing for not getting a mini update out, like I said yesterday, that I was due for the mountain temperature. We didn't actually get a temperature until earlier today. So I will make sure and look that up. I will talk to the people that are doing maps for us and try to get a correct number of acreage and add that as a mini update onto our website.
Thank you. As a reminder, please press star then 1 if you'd like to ask a question. Our next question comes from Steve of Reuters, so your line is now open.
Hi, I want to ask one other question. In terms of like just duration, because we're now at the 4-week mark, and so just overall activity, in terms of lava flows and fountaining and eruption from the star crater and ash and everything, is it possible to say this would be the biggest and most energetic eruption cycle or longest duration since when? Since like 1960 or 1925 or sometime more recent than that?
I guess that's kind of hard to say. I mean, the cool eruption itself was continuous for nearly 35 years, and so that's pretty long duration. There have been eruptions that have occurred in the past that have lasted longer than that. The Isle eruption that built this globe that's close to where Thurston Latitude is now, that lasted for 60 years. So there are very long duration eruptions of Hawaiian volcanoes. It's what they do. They create these. They just erupt for a longer period of time. There's a continuous supply of magma coming up from the mantle, and so it just finds its way out in just a more continuous way. These rift-zone eruptions, the ones that occur lower down, there's just a lot of area, a lot of distance for them to travel from the summit down to lower east rift zone. So in that process of travel, more things can happen along the way, and there could be an earthquake that blocks the path, and then the eruption would stop. Or, only a certain percentage of eruptible magma is in the rift zone at a place where it can get up to the surface. So there's just lots of variables the further you get away from the actual source. Does that answer your question?
Let me put it this way: is this considered part of the same eruption cycle that began in 1980, or is this sort of a separate event from that eruption cycle?
That's a great question. We have been talking about that, and we're pretty much ready to call this a new eruption. Ku'u'o'o doesn't show any signs of activity in it at all. There's still a little bit of deflation happening at Ku'u'o'o, but there's no incandescence below. It just doesn't seem like magma will return to that area. So I'm not going to, I can't really call it official because I'm not the scientist in charge. But, we've been discussing that about what does this mean? Is this just a new eruption, and we're going to have to call it something new?
Thank you. Our next question comes from Caleb of the Associated Press, so your line is open.
Thank you. Wendy, this is for you, and apologies if I haven't heard this before. I was out in the field a lot, but for Halemaumau crater, when was that crater created? And can you describe a little bit for me what that eruption was like? I mean, was this hundreds of thousands of years ago, or when did that go off, and what was it like?
Hi, great question. I don't know the exact date. There's some good information on our website, but the caldera of Kilauea was formed in the 1500s. So there was a period of 300 years that were very explosive, much more explosive than what we're seeing now from the summit of Kilauea. And that over that period of 300 years, the caldera itself formed. And Halemaumau was first observed and documented to be an active lava lake in 1823. So we do know that there was a lava lake there in 1823. But the crater itself was much smaller than it is today. And when the lava lake drained away in 1924, it was a smaller crater than it is today. And after the 1924 eruption, Halemaumau itself grew in size. And we're seeing that now. Halemaumau itself has grown in size. I'm not exactly sure if the amount of collapse of Holly Mountain, but the overlook vent, which is where that hosted lava lake within Holly Mountain, has nearly doubled in size. It's essentially taking up the whole eastern half of the crater, and we have a radar image on our website that shows that.
Our next question comes from Alicia from BrunoMarthaRadio.com, and your line is now open.
Hi, I would just like to go back to how you guys are considering that this is going to be a new eruption. What are you doing to monitor some of the low temperature volcanic gases that we haven't really been hearing about, but that could have some health effects on people?
Are you, which types of volcanic gases are you talking about?
Some of the more low temperature ones, the ancient helium, methane, some of those gases. How are you guys currently monitoring those, and are you going to use that for your information, since considering you're going to call this a new eruption?
Well, I didn't say specifically that we're going to call it a new eruption. We are in discussion about that. And those gases are not ones that are the primary concern for monitoring the volcano. I think that the health issues would need to be discussed with the Department of Health. They do have monitoring networks around the island, and there's lots of sensors out there. If you go to the Department of Health website, they have, there's information about fog. They do things to map fog, and those, I think the Department of Health has a good handle on the hazards associated with volcanic gases, especially in Hawaii. So they really are the best ones to answer this question. I can talk about what we're doing for monitoring volcanic gases here. We have a team that is out. They're on the ground. They're using sensors that are measured by hand. We also have drones that they're using to measure materials in the plumes that are coming off from the summit and off of the lower eastern zone activity. And the primary ones we're measuring there are sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. So we're doing hydrogen sulfide calculations based on the amount of sulfur dioxide. Carbon dioxide can be an equivalent measurement, but of course that's not toxic to human beings. We do have a handle on the primary volcanic gases. So hopefully you can follow up with the Department of Health. There's a good website that's called the VOG Information Dashboard, and on that website there are contacts and other resources from agencies that deal with monitoring air quality. That would be a good place to go to find out more about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you describe for me a little bit about the interconnectivity of the various volcanoes around Hawaii? I know that it's a hot spot for volcanic activity, but does this activity on Kilauea have any impact or relationship to Mauna Loa or Loihi Seamount or any of the others in the region? Is there any indications that there could be activity anywhere else in the state?
Hi, Lisa Well, USGS. So we are continually monitoring all of the other volcanoes in the state, and you can go to our website and find data from the monitoring instruments that we have out on the volcanoes. Loihi is a special one because we can't really put monitors on the seafloor down there close to the volcano, so we use instruments that are located on land to measure whether there's been any mostly earthquake activity down in around Loihi. There has not been any, and Mauna Loa is still quiet. There's no sign that there's any activity returning to Mauna Loa, or Mauna Kea, or Kualoa, for that matter. Everything is quiet except for the activity that's going on in Kilauea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our last question comes from Tom of Hawaii Tribune Herald, so your line is now open.
Hi, yes, there's some debate still about whether this counts as an eruption. Is that why it hasn't been named yet?
I can't actually answer that question. I think there's just so many moving parts, and people have been really trying to deal with the response and ensuring that we're giving the correct information to Hawaii County Civil Defense. And really this is, it's been an all-hands-on-deck effort from the entire USGS Volcano Hazards Program. So I don't know that there's been time to sit down and think about that yet. The people's lives that are being impacted those are our primary concerns, and naming an eruption is not the focus of discussion at this moment in time.
Of course, thank you.
Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports that lava from several fissures continues to move through Leilani Estates, Lanipuna Gardens, and towards the Kapoho area. Hawaii Fire Department reports that a fast-moving flow in the area of Noni Farms Road is heading toward the Wawa area. Residents of Government Beach Road, Kapoho Beach lots, and vacation land are at risk for isolation or lava inundation should a flow reach that area, and are advised to evacuate due to the possibility. Due to the volcanic activity, the following policies are in effect. Evacuation area residents, including Leilani Estates, Government Beach Road, Kapoho Beach lots, and vacation land, with approved credentials, are allowed to enter from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. This curfew is strictly enforced for your safety. Placards to re-enter these areas are available at the Disaster Information Center at the Pahoa Community Center Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. Highway 132 is closed. Residents close to any volcanic activity should remain alert and be prepared to voluntarily evacuate if necessary. Stay tuned to local radio stations for updates from Civil Defense. We are on watch 24 hours a day for your safety. Thank you for listening. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense Agency.